mm, title here, powering the features of Salesforce Industries. What is the definition? What one line definition? If I tell what is the velocity, it's a powering the feature of Salesforce Industries. Okay. Now let us break down each and every word here and try to understand what is the feature of Salesforce Industries. Basically, what are the Salesforce Industries? Okay. Then how it is powering, how is giving more enhanced features to the existing Salesforce. Okay, in in detail way. Okay, now if I go to the next page, these are the things we are going to cover in today's session. Okay, first thing, not only Salesforce, not only Velocity, any programming language you'll take, you need to understand three things: what, why, and how. Okay, so here we are also looking into that thing, what is the velocity. Okay, why the velocity is needed here, and how we can make use of features of velocity into the any Salesforce application. Okay, then we move to the essential difference. What is the Salesforce, how we need to use a velocity, difference between Salesforce and velocity, and introduction to the industry cloud. Okay, what is the industry clouds? Then we move to the sum of the features. I cannot tell all the features here. I have picked in some important features of the velocity. Okay, then we move to the targeted industries. So by using this velocity, as of now, how many industries are targeted? Okay, how many industries are using velocity? Then architecture of the velocity. So then after that we'll discuss about velocity Omni Studio components. Okay, then if time permits, we'll see some quick demo also. Okay, is that fine? Let's move. Okay, so this is a basic thing I want to tell you. Let's forget about velocity, let's forget about Salesforce. If you are developing one application, if you are developing one application to one client, whether that client is belongs to banking domain, that client is belongs to healthcare domain, telecom domain, doesn't matter. Okay, first of all, you want to create one application. For that thing, what you need to do, you need to think first of all which kind of software you need to use to create that application. Okay, okay, after that, uh, anyway you have selected software, whether you will go with this Java, whether you go with .NET, what is the backend system you want, Oracle, SQL, okay, MySQL, any other database. Okay, then you need to figure out the infrastructure. Infrastructure means you need to have some hardware components, means maybe PC you can take, laptop you can take, whatever it may be. Okay, then what you need to do, you need to purchase a license. You cannot directly go and no, none of the softwares are nowadays freeware. You have to take some licenses. Okay, so all these things you need to take care. On top of that, some applications will not work on the mobile. Okay, again, compatible code you need to write, mobile compatibility, desktop compatibility. Okay, all those things you need to take care. Then after that, again you need to add some more lines of code, some more features, frameworks you need to introduce with respect to security, security and all. Okay, so this is the actual traditional process whenever you want to create any application. Okay, so on an average it will take 6 to 12 months to deliver any simple moderate project. Okay, but with the contract with Salesforce, now the same thing I wanted to do in the Salesforce. What you need, you no need to go for any software license purchases. You no need to set up any infrastructure. Okay, hardware, all those things. Simple thing, what you need one laptop or desktop with one internet connection, that's all. So you no need some IDE. Okay, you no need some database. Everything is incorporated, everything is packed and parcel as a Salesforce. There only you can do. And sale on top of that, what Salesforce is giving, it will give some standard objects. Maybe if you are developing in Sales Cloud, you are having account, contact, opportunity, all those things, campaign, everything is. But if you are going with any Service Cloud, cases are there, milestones are there. Okay, all those, there's already inbuilt data model is available. If you want to develop any code, you can have a developer console, deployment tool is there, you can create a chain set, you can do the deployment, everything is there. Okay, so but if you go with the Salesforce, straight away you can reduce half of the time. Okay, this is the main difference of the classic application, is with contrast with Salesforce. Okay, everybody, since you are having 5 years of more than 5 years, 10 years experience in Salesforce, you know this is a basic difference, right? Now, you have any questions, queries in this slide?
No.
No, right? Okay, let's move to the. Hello.
Hello, yes.
Anyone have any questions?
No, I don't.
No, right? Okay, we move forward. So this is the basic difference about Salesforce and legacy platforms. Okay. Now let's take a scenario. Okay. Nowadays, everybody is having insurance policies. Insurance policies. Okay. Now let's take any insurance. Star Health insurance is there. Cigna TTK insurance is there. Manipal insurance is there. Okay. Any number of insurance are there. Okay. So if you go with any insurance company, okay. Now let's open one website. Okay, this is, let's consider say Manipal Cigna insurance, right? What are the features you can see here? What are the modules? Either I can call it modules. Okay, there is a module called claims module. What is this claims module? If somebody is taking insurance with this particular insurance company, so if somebody is going to hospitalize, we can do the claims, settlements, claims, all those things. Okay, then you can go with renewal. Okay, there are a lot of products are there. How many type of coverage it will support? All the products are there. Okay, then we are having a billing module is there. Okay, so what I mean to say is, if you are going with one insurance company, okay, okay, referrals also there. In some companies they are having referrals. One hospital cannot serve, then he can refer to some other hospital. This is a set of modules. This is a common for all health insurance companies. Maybe you can go with some other health insurance company. This is a common modules we are having. Like if you take this pre-authorization module is there. Pre-authorization module means, you might be aware, uh, if some, let's consider one X person is taken some health insurance policy in his family, somebody need to take some surgery after a month, after 15 days, right? So what he need to do, he need to do the pre-authorization form, which is nothing but for cashless treatment. Okay, so this is nothing but a one model in the all health insurance projects. Okay, so for this thing, what you need to do, if you are using a Salesforce, what you need to do, you need to create a data model. That data model contains lot of custom objects. For pre-authorization, one set of objects you need. For claims, you need create some set of objects. Referrals, so whichever model you are working on for health with respect to health insurance, so those many custom objects you need to create. You need to link up those objects in one line. If I want to say, you need to create entire data model for that insurance project. Okay, you agree? Okay, now let's take another sector, another domain you can take. Coming to communication domain, telecommunication. In telecommunication, what models we are having? Okay, could you please mute to HR to everybody? If you have any
I
queries,
have
you
one
can.
quick question to ask you. Though.
Yes, yes, please, please.
Yeah, you mentioned that if you are going to develop the insurance model or healthcare model with the Salesforce, like a Lightning or LWC, then we need to have the customized UI along with the object, right? So in Velocity, if we go with the similar kind of thing in development, so do we have that specific object or no?
Yes, yes, that's what I'm telling. I'm giving the discussion. So now, after explaining these examples, I'll give the solution. The solution is nothing but velocity only. How it is helping Salesforce to avoid all this kind of stuff, we'll explain in detail. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Fine. So this we discussed about the health insurance. Now, if you talk about any telecommunication, okay, you can see prepaid module is there. Okay, which means what are the modules they are selling? Those modules are the prepaid is there, postpaid is there. If it is a new connection, we are having a separate flow is there. Okay, a roaming. So billing options also there. Okay, so this is the specific data model for telecommunication having. Maybe it's, if you see the data package, plan types, billing. So this is a complete set of different data model. It is dedicated to the communication domain. Okay. Similarly, if you go with the media and entertainment, Here also we are having, and now if you go for Netflix, if you go for Amazon, we are having subscriptions are there, loyalty programs are there, which means if anybody is taking a frequent subscription, they may get some discounts, some offers are there. So all these kind of models are there. So with this slide, what we understood, we have understood that each and every domain having a specific set of data model. Point number one,
Yeah, yes, yeah,
correct?
yeah.
Data model,
I got. Yeah, we
correct?
got it. But I want to ask one question here.
Yes, yes,
Yeah, so you told me told us like so the in the specific model like the telecommunication and like in the broadband where we use a broadband service, so we use the velocity most of the cases, right? The data model, like the data model is different for depend on the application and depend on the domain.
yes, yes,
So but I like I see like in the multiple applications. I've been worked in the 2 or 3 telecommunication company. So I so like the we are using the CPQ and velocity. Like every time we are using the velocity and CPQ. So I didn't see the difference. Like so at that time I was not working on the velocity, but now I'm working on the velocity. I'm working on the one telecom company. So now they're using the velocity data model. So it is like it is always we use the velocity. If we do have the applications on the billing system, or we do have the applications of the subscription and kind of. So velocity is like valuable to use in these kind of the application, or we can use the Salesforce customized model or Salesforce customized applications which can be replaced to the velocity, or velocity is easy to use. So why, like what is the actual difference, like what it can make easy, easy like easy to write the to do the configuration, to do the customization. So actually I want to know the actual difference. I mean,
yes,
that's my
yes.
question.
Understand. I understand. Your question is very good question, a very valid question actually. So I'll tell you, since once you install the Velocity package with respect to communication or health insurance, okay, whenever you install the package, respective data model will be created into your Salesforce sandbox. Point number one. Okay.
Okay.
Now what happens now, since velocity is not 100% full-fledged used by all companies now, means it is recently, it is introduced in 2018, but at that time it is introduced, nobody was using velocity. Anyway, the velocity is completely not merged with Salesforce. It is a separate company,
Yeah,
right?
it's a separate package, I think we can say. We
Correct.
don't need to
So
learn the Apex. So if
exactly,
you want to
and
work in the velocity.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, I'll come to that. So now what happened after that? Uh, some people have started using the uh, data model velocity, but still some people not full-fledged aware what is velocity, what is the data model, how we can use. Now let's take one scenario. If you working on Salesforce, okay, there is a concept called transaction management. Okay, now you are inserting in two records into two different objects. Okay, you have a scenario, if something is happening after inserting into one object record, another object is not inserting properly, then previously inserted object should be rolled back. This is the transaction management, you might be knowing it, right? So most of the people doesn't know how to achieve that thing in a velocity. Now coming to best practices in the Salesforce, what we do in the for loop, we don't use any DML operation. Okay, and in the Salesforce, one more thing, if you are accessing one record from one particular custom object, it should be profile specific. Only for certain profiles it should be accessible, certain profile it should not access. Okay, so all that kind of security things we can achieve with velocity also, but people are not miss nowadays, most of the people using but started using, but at the time when it introduced, they are not that much aware, full-fledged 100% usage of velocity was not happening. Nowadays we are learning, everybody is deep driving into it, what is documentation is available. Earlier no documentation is available. So we are having all the features based upon our requirement, based upon client requirement. If the person is having full-fledged knowledge and velocity, definitely he can use the data model which is provided by velocity. Okay, but sometimes due to the project deadlines, some sprint deadlines, they don't deep drive it, simply they use the Salesforce one. But by using Salesforce there is nothing harm actually. Okay, still some people are using some part of Salesforce object, they are using some part of object they are using from velocity. But the main thing here is, the biggest advantage here is UI, means where we can have the separate components, Omni Studio components are there, they are using that thing. That is the biggest advantage. On top of the data model, second advantage and biggest advantage is it is having a Omni Studio components. Okay.
Oh, just one question.
Yeah.
Then what I understand is both Salesforce and Velocity can coexist in the same module, right? Or same project or same app
Yes.
application.
Yes.
Okay. So
And
okay. So
actually, the thing is, what happening is nowadays there is no specific pure Velocity project. Okay, but if you want, you can do that. What happening now? Let's consider I have started one project which is telecom project. Okay, I am running that project since 2-3 years. Okay, now what happened? One new feature I need to add it.
Okay,
Okay,
got it.
that new feature I can make use of Velocity, and instead of using the flows and all Salesforce login flows, I can go with the Omni Studio Omni script. Okay, that we can do that. We mix and match also possible. Okay, so if that answer your question, can I move forward?
for me, okay. No issue.
Yeah. So with this slide, what we understood is each and every domain is having a separate specific data model. Okay. Now let's go to the next slide. So this slide will give a more clear picture here. Now what is Velocity? If you see the literal definition, Velocity is built natively on the Salesforce platform, and it is a leading provider of industry specific solution. Why I highlighted in yellow color? Because it is targeting to the industries. Maybe it's a telecom industry, insurance, media and entertainment. Okay, and this pictorial notation, you can tell that it is combination of Salesforce and Velocity. This is what.
Velocity is also industry cloud, right? We can say industry cloud to the
Yeah,
Velocity.
yeah, not we
It
can say
is
it is
second name of the
industry
Velocity,
cloud.
right? Industry.
Yeah, yeah, it is industry
Yeah,
cloud
it is
only.
industry cloud. Okay.
Yeah, you understood this slide. Can we move to next slide?
Yeah. Yeah. Got it.
Okay, this is one more example. Here what I'm trying to say is, if you are creating one data model without Velocity and with Velocity. Okay, without Velocity, top one, if you see here, okay, this is an account object, and account object is related to only contact. Okay, according to our scenario, maybe it is related to many other objects, standard objects, but according to our scenario, it is only related to contact. Now let's consider you are having one telecom application. We have n number of other objects are there. If you see this below slide, contact is there, party is there, okay, mobile device is there, primary contact, okay, subscriber is there, okay, contact, subscriber, mobile device. So all these objects will sit on the top of Salesforce when you install Velocity package. Okay, this notation is giving Salesforce plus Velocity. Okay, this is also one more example I'm trying to give. Now let us see next slide. In this slide, I'm trying to give you the what is architecture of the Velocity.
That means like, so if we,
Yeah, yeah, please go ahead.
yeah, so that means like if we want to extract the data from the unrelated object, so we can do it by the using of the data raptor in Velocity.
I did not understand.
Like
Unrelated means.
unrelated means suppose one object A and B does
Mhm,
not have the lookup to each other.
mhm.
So I
Okay.
want to extract from I'm working on the account object. I want to extract the lead object record. So it is possible to
Yes.
extract the
Yeah.
data without having the relationship between the object, right? In
Yes, it is
Velocity only.
possible. Yeah,
Yes.
it's
Okay.
possible. Now,
In sales.
now let's consider if you want
Okay.
to pull, if you want to pull records from the account and contact. Okay, what is the relation between account and contact? It's a child and parent. Okay, then
Mm-hmm.
you can pull data in this kind of objects, and you are getting information from account and lead, as you told. Okay, that also we can pull. There is no restriction that you should not. You should use the two different objects without any relation, with relation, doesn't matter actually.
But there must be some common identifier, right, between two, or else like I'm just trying to understand the previous slide. Can we go
No.
to the slide 6 once?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so
This what I'm telling is, it's not about the relation or common. Just I'm trying to give the difference between with velocity and without velocity. That's all. With, if you add velocity, some other objects will be added here. That I'm telling. The question which you asked is a little different one. Can we
No,
pull the data from data raptor without any having relation between two objects?
okay, so that is not my question. My question is, like, here, what is the difference? Like, what exactly are you trying to say in
Yeah.
these two slides?
Here actually what I'm trying to say, if you are building one application, that application is targeting to telecom domain. Okay.
Hmm.
So, but if you go with telecom domain without velocity, you don't have much helper objects.
Okay, okay.
Like
So you are the
these
already
objects,
built-in helper objects we are getting in velocity. That
correct,
is what
correct.
you're saying.
Yeah,
Okay, okay.
like that. Okay. So this is about the architecture, actually, high level architecture. If you see the velocity, okay, which is a light blue color box is there. That box is a Salesforce. On top of the Salesforce, we are installing this packages, velocity package. Okay. And if you see the grayed out colors, it is insurance, health, public sector, communications. All these boxes are nothing but different domains. Okay. And on top of that, you can see some components of velocity, data raptor in orange, omniscript in green, cards in the blue. So these three components are common whether you install whichever package. Either you can install insurance, health, public sector, communication, doesn't matter. It is not different. These components will remain common for the all domains. Doesn't matter whatever the domain is there. Okay,
Okay, so it's not again a single package. Velocity is not a single package. It's again for insurance. It's a different
correct,
package, health,
correct.
and but cards, omniscript, and
Yeah,
that other third one will be same.
correct. These are, we can call it from now on, we can call it Omni Studio components. So Omni Studio component will remain same. Doesn't matter how whatever the package you are installing. Okay,
Omni student
Omni Studio.
studio. So that is only the three things, right? Cards, omniscript, and data raptor.
Yeah, some other things are there. Just I highlighted only a couple of things here.
Okay, but CPQ, these things will be not part of this insurance, healthcare, and all, right? It will be only under communication.
No,
Or
no.
what exactly? What is it?
It is maybe if you want to add that flavor also we can add. Just here I added like this, but we can add. We can install CPQ. We can install. We can make use of insurance also. That is not an issue
Okay, okay.
because it is nothing but it's a one more layer on top of the uh, Salesforce CPQ. In the single page, we can add the products, attributes, rules, advanced rules, all those things we can manage. So this is about the high level architecture, means component level architecture for the velocity. Any questions here? Can we move forward? Here I am listing some of the features of velocity. Okay. First thing I want to highlight here is drag and drop, which means if anybody worked in not .NET, no, forget about .NET. If you are creating any flow, right? What we can do, just we can drag and drop. We can just create one node. That node will take care what uh, it has to do. Maybe it has to call some Apex class. It has to write any workflow rule, anything, right? Similarly, we can drag and drop the component. If you want to create one form, okay, that form having one email field, one phone field, one text field, okay, all those things you should not write all the code. Just you need to drag and drop. That's all. That component you need to drag and drop in the UI component. Maybe it's a OmniScript, okay, or FlexiCard. These are the mainly UI components. You can drag and drop and you can set up the properties, which what is the name you have to see in the UI, what is the value it will take, any validation rules you want to perform. All those things are configurable. You no need to write any code. Okay, then easy to build the UI components. Again, this is the reason actually drag and drop. Since we are drag and drop all the components, it's very easy to create any UI components until unless client is expecting something different. Whichever the velocity is giving the standard one, if they don't want to go with that UI, they want their own specific UI, then we have an option. We can override velocity components with a LWC or AngularJS. So by using these two things, you can override the Elastic component, UI component, and give it to the client whatever they want. This option is also available. Okay. So payloads are simple. Why I'm giving this line here? Payloads are simple means actually whenever we are doing the data transformation, maybe you are pulling data from some third party or you are sending some request to the third party. Okay, or let's consider you are having one data that has to be transformed into another form of data. Like all the transaction means data flow will be happening in a JSON only. Payload is in JSON only. Okay, that is the reason it's very simple to understand. Okay, and we discussed this fourth point already. It's a pre-designed data models. Pre-designed data models means if you want to make use of any data model of velocity, you can just make use according to your domain. Okay, one other is less code integration. This is a very important point. Then when before we start this session, somebody asked about the integration procedure, right? So ideally what happens if you want to you are having a scenario, you want to hit some third party and fetch some data. What you will write? You will write at least 10 to 15 lines of code, right? Maybe you have to initialize the HTTP action, give the named credentials, or give the username and password. Either it's a token, create a request body. Okay, send the request and get the response. You need to check whether the response is coming properly, 200 or not, success or not. So all these lines of code you need, right? But here just you need to drag and drop, set the endpoint URL and set some parameters, whatever you want to send. That will taken care of everything. Okay, all these things it's available actually. The less code you can achieve this.